Цели специальной военной операции, безусловно, будут.
Today, we see that the geopolitical situation in the world remains tense, and in some regions, it is becoming simply critical. NATO countries are actively building up and modernizing their offensive forces, creating and deploying new types of weapons, including in space. Meanwhile, in Europe, people are being filled with fears about an inevitable confrontation with Russia and are being told to prepare for a big war. Various figures who have held or still hold responsible positions seem to have forgotten about that responsibility. They are guided by fleeting personal or political interests, not the interests of their peoples, and they are increasingly raising the degree of hysteria. I have repeatedly said this. The narrative about some imaginary Russian threat to European countries is a lie, absolute nonsense. But this is done quite deliberately. The truth is that Russia has always, even in the most difficult circumstances, sought diplomatic solutions to contradictions and conflicts to the very end, as long as there was the slightest chance. The responsibility for failing to use those chances lies entirely with those who believed they could speak to us in the language of force. Today, we stand for building mutually beneficial and equal cooperation with the United States and European countries, and for creating a unified security system throughout the Eurasian region. We welcome the progress that has emerged in our dialogue with the new American administration. Unfortunately, the same cannot be said about the current leadership of most European countries. At the same time, we recognize that, under any international circumstances, the key guarantor of Russia's sovereignty, independence, and future strategic parity remains our armed forces. As I have already said, we must continue systematic work to strengthen them. What do I want to emphasize in particular? What tasks should be set for military development, given the changing situation on the front line? First, the goals of the special military operation will undoubtedly be achieved. We would prefer to accomplish this and eliminate the root causes of the conflict through diplomacy. But if the opposing country and its overseas patrons refuse substantive dialogue, Russia will achieve the liberation of its historical lands by military means. The task of creating and expanding a security buffer zone will also be consistently pursued. Second, the modernization of the armed forces must continue at a high pace and with quality, especially within the framework of the new state armament program for 2027 to 2036, which is currently being developed. The experience of the special military operation must be fully taken into account, along with new trends in combat tactics and rapidly developing military technologies. Key areas of this program include air and missile defense systems, electronic warfare management tools, and unmanned complexes in all environments. Of course, improving strategic nuclear forces remains a priority, as they continue to play a major role in deterring aggression and maintaining the global balance of power. Today in Russia marks the day of the strategic missile forces. I would like to take this opportunity to congratulate veterans, active personnel, and civilian specialists of the strategic missile forces on their professional holiday, and wish them success and all the best. Third, the Russian army must remain at the forefront of technological progress. This means rapidly integrating robotics, information technologies, new materials, and expanding the use of autonomous combat systems and artificial intelligence. Fourth, it is essential to equip our orbital group of next-generation spacecraft. This will provide troops with high-speed, secure communication channels and improve the quality of intelligence and precision navigational data. Furthermore, in May of this year, a strategy for developing the naval fleet until 2050 was approved, outlining its future trajectory. Accurate and timely implementation of this strategy will modernize the Navy and increase its ability to fulfill combat tasks across all theaters of operation. Finally, the active development of military and military technical cooperation with foreign states, our allies and partners, must continue. We will enhance the system of collective security and the Union state. Overall, this work is a significant factor in strengthening regional and international security. Dear comrades, expanding social guarantees for participants in the special military operation and their families, as well as for all our servicemen, remains one of the state's key priorities. Over the past year, the Ministry of Defense, together with the State Fund Defenders of the Fatherland, has made major progress in improving medical care, supporting wounded soldiers, rehabilitation and employment, ensuring timely payments, and providing social support to families, children, and parents of fallen servicemen. However, there is still work to be done. As preparations for the direct line dialogue continue, many questions on these topics are being raised, and we will certainly return to them with the ministry's leadership. I particularly want to recognize the heroic work of military doctors and medical personnel, who often do the impossible to save our soldiers and return them to duty. We have gained unique experience in providing medical and psychological assistance to soldiers suffering from injuries, wounds, and illnesses related to combat actions. This experience should be incorporated not only into the military medical system, but also into civilian healthcare and enshrined in legislation. It is also crucial to continue indexing military salaries and to maintain the pace of providing service and permanent housing. Every defender of the motherland must be certain that the state will support them and their loved ones in every possible way. In conclusion, I once again thank all soldiers and officers currently on the front line and all participants in the special military operation for their heroism and selflessness. I wish the leadership, personnel, and civilian staff of the Ministry of Defense new achievements in serving our homeland and its people. I am confident that you will continue to reliably safeguard the sovereignty and security of Russia.
$25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले।
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
The fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that look, you will have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest news makers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the U.S. will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry ghats.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't bother because this is a small state.
Deep dive into burning issues.
It's often said DRC could be the richest country in the whole world. It's because of what sits underneath.
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HD videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.
$25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले।
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
The fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that look, you will have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest news makers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the U.S. will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry ghats.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't bother because this is a small state.
Deep dive into burning issues.
It's often said DRC could be the richest country in the whole world. It's because of what sits underneath.
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HD videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.